Third, Kharkov. A series of Soviet offensives after their victory at Stalingrad come to an end when the Germans manage to pocket and destroy significant Soviet forces at Kharkov. Yeah, that's sort of the wish of the panzer generals. Hitler never trusts his generals. Primarily, I would say, is because he is not one of, I'm doing air quotes, them. Not because he's wasn't a general. That's not what I'm saying. It's a class and society distinction. Hitler comes from, minor Austrian middle class type government bureaucracy types. I think his father, if I remember correctly, his father was a postman. A significant sort of government job back in the day, before the internet. Yes, great victory of Manstein. And he sees, so he's not part of that social world, shall we say, of the officer class, of the upper class in traditional German society, and whether German Empire or the Habsburg Empire of Austria-Hungary, whatever. He's not part of them. He's an NCO. So he's not part of that world. And then he gets into power, obviously, and sees the German army establishment as part of the old order. Hitler is a revolutionary. He is a revolutionary. And this is one thing I'm still studying. I've been for years. I know some of you guys know me a bit better, but I've been studying Hitler, go back to, before university, took actually a university course. I'm still trying to understand he's evil. I'm not trying to, this is not a hero thing. This is understanding evil thing, but trying to understand him. So he gets into power. He's opposed by the sort of traditional group, which are the army officers, the Junkers, whatever, tolerated by somebody like Hindenburg, so long as he was going to be able to be controlled, another air quotes, by his vice chancellor, von Papen, all of this kind of stuff. So he's always fighting against this establishment. And then you have the situation of the establishment being so, as he sees it, so fearful and so wrong about going to war with the Western Allies because, hey, he in this modern war and the National Socialist spirit have defeated France, something that the generals and the old order could not do. So he is a revolutionary. He wants to overturn things. Now, are revolutionaries necessarily, because it's not a reactionary, he is not someone who's trying, he wants to go back to some super ancient mythical past, but it's not like going back 100 years. He wants to go back 10,000 years or 3,000 years or whatever he thinks it is. So it's nut jobbery. But so he's not a reactionary who's trying to overthrow a modern government and go back 50 years or something and reestablish the monarchy or whatever you might find reactionaries, French Revolution or something like that. So is Hitler and the Nazis right wing or left wing? I still have difficulty in defining it that way. But he's definitely a revolutionary. So the old order is something that has failed Germany. It's failed World War I. The German general staff was unable to win World War I. He sees himself, yes, using von Manstein's plan, but sees himself as the I don't know if divine is the right term, but inspired by a higher power. Hitler believes there's some sort of higher power protecting him, guiding him. all the assassination attempts. He believes, now what sort of God type figure, whatever, that's still up to a lot of debate. But he definitely believes in a higher power. And Hitler may very well, in the time of his governing, I'm not talking childhood or before, I'm just talking before childhood now, but through his governing period, he very well may have changed his ideas on, higher powers, but he definitely believes there's a higher power guiding his mission here, protecting him. So he sees, defeat in France, defeat France, defeat Norway. It's all on this National Socialist zeal. So he gets to where he, doesn't trust his generals. Now, whether you're Frederick the Great and, someone classically from the general group and a general and not some yes, he's a hereditary person, but he's not there because he's not Frederick the Great just because he's Louis the 15th or Louis the 8th or Louis the whatever, and is just king and so divorced from the military. Now Frederick the Great is enmeshed in the military in his state. But whether you're somebody like him or you're somebody like Louis the whatever, or you're a democratically elected, parliamentary leader, or, in America or something, you still need to, you don't just trust the generals. You don't just take whatever the generals' advice are. You as leader need to examine the situation yourself. So that's correct. But he just doesn't, not just doesn't trust his generals, he distrusts his generals. So when people like von Manstein, people like Guderian want to retreat against various conditions in the Soviet Union, he sees it. One, he doesn't trust these people to be giving him the correct information, the good advice. And two, he sees this sort of National Socialist will that they lack, and that he believes is to some degree instilled in his army through the SA being drafted into the army. People after Ernst Röhm is killed sort of dismiss in history books. It's really hard to find anybody writing, and I've looked, history books on the SA of any, and I've got a couple that cover the post Ernst Röhm era, but it's really hard to find, at least in English, what the SA was doing. But they were doing so much, actually. You just sort of, modern author or post-war authors just sort of forget it about it. But they were doing so much. There's the Field Herrenhalle division that becomes prominence towards the end of the war, and that's basically a sort of an SA unit within the army, if you will. And so he, Hitler early on, once they start doing, drafting people in the German army, that's when he starts to be less worried about a military coup, because he believes, rightly or wrongly, that now that you've got a lot of SA men in the army that are, ideologically National Socialist, they're with him, and they're imbued with this spirit that he perceives. Whether it's really there or not, I'm not talking about that. I'm trying to put you in his mind. And so he sees it not necessarily at this time even as defeatism, but just, you don't understand. We just got to outwill the Soviets. And if our men have greater will than the Soviets, very much like the Japanese thinking of the warfare, have greater will than your enemy and you'll win. And the Japanese experience that thing called firepower. So no matter how much will you're sitting in that bunker ready to shoot your guns out the bunker slit, when you're being just pounded by artillery from something you can't see, it doesn't matter what your will is to endure if the firepower is such that we'll just be victorious. And people like von Manstein, people like Guderian, and a lot of the other generals understand that will is important, because when armies lose their will, and we can look at like the Russian Imperial Army of World War I, loses its will to fight. and just deserts en masse. Will is a extremely important element in warfare, but will does not conquer. Will alone, shall we say, does not conquer superior firepower, superior munitions productions, superior armaments productions. And the German generals know that they have that superiority and can bring that superiority overwhelmingly to local areas of the battlefield and destroy large elements of the Soviet army if they're allowed to maneuver, if they're allowed to go, oh, here they're pushing here. Well, let's just all retreat as fast as we can, but let's, of course, retreat with our supplies and get everything out before we're collapsing. That's sort of the idea, is to get out before you're collapsing, let the enemy in, and while you're doing that, you're shifting your greater forces around to come and do a pocket situation and destroy this army. But Hitler, just because he gets to the point that he doesn't trust his general, he distrusts his general. Not just, hey, you need to trust but verify, or trust but get a second opinion. No, he distrusts them. So this is what really brings down, I guess, Hadler's betrayal to emphasize Army Group Center played a role why the generals are not trusted. Yeah, there's... And it's been years since I've read a lot of the stuff there. I've read, von Manstein's book. I've read Guderian's book, which obviously will influence my thinking on them. It's multiple things. It's early on that they didn't achieve goals that were promised. They didn't achieve goal of, Hitler's, and I don't know who quotes this first, but obviously in German, but something like, you just kick in the door and the whole house of cards will collapse in the Soviet Union, is a thinking that I firmly attribute to Hitler. Whether he comes up with that or not, I don't know. I don't remember. But, they don't achieve their goals. And it just, Army Group Center, you got so much going on there. So, and whether you're looking at Army Group Center's push to Moscow, in early the first phase of Barbarossa, or the collapse of Army Group Center with the, early Soviet counteroffensive, you have all of this stuff going on. And for a while, sometime you have the, von Manstein's star burns brightly because he's seen, I would say, by Hitler as the person who brings out success in taking Crimea. He doesn't pull success out in, Stalingrad, but he at least stabilizes the situation there. And deals with that. And yeah, as you can tell, I know Manstein's story better than some of the others. And so he, has the, rising star for a while, but he is also one of the generals that want to retreat, where Hitler doesn't want to retreat. Now, Hitler is also right, because Hitler's not stupid. Okay, he understands the economies of warfare, and he understands the out sort of in this part of the Soviet Union as well as down here, but particularly out here, you have a lot of, we can call them rare earth minerals, or just resources that are not readily found inside the other parts of Germany. He goes, no, we've got to defend these, because these are going to actively, 6 months, a year from now, if you still want to build tanks and airplanes at the rate we could possibly build them, we must have these resources. So retreating just is not a good idea. Now, of course, the German generals are going, yeah, tanks in a year? We're looking at, will we still be, will we have already functionally lost the war? Not that they're in Berlin in a year, but will we have gotten to such a position that the victory or loss is not being able to turn around? So we might as well retreat today, and in 2 months counterattack, kind of thing. And then we can see about resources. So Hitler's not wrong on an importance of resources. Now, I do think Hitler's almost as using it, that in my analysis of him, as an excuse to explain to the generals, we must defend these resources that are here, so you must do this, as opposed to, I think you're all just a bunch of defeatists, or you're just going to betray me, or whatever. And so, you know, he's using it as an argument, I think, as much as a debate, as an element in a debate, than as a real, you know, primary reason. But a lot. So we'll continue here. And all of this has huge impacts on what's going on in North Africa. Now, I will say clearly in my mind that once the Americans make a successful landing, you know, out here in the west of North Africa, it's time to give up North Africa and evacuate, not reinforce. Because now maybe again this is me looking back at World War II as opposed to what them looking there, is an appreciation. One, a German should be in analyzing the Italian Navy's operations. They are not going to confront an equal or superior naval force for fear of losing their navy. They want to use their navy, sort of like the French did in the Napoleonic Wars, as a fleet in being, meaning it exists. And your opponent must take that into account in anything they do. And so, meaning that, you know, I'm not going to click this just yet here, but meaning if you have a fleet here in the Mediterranean, you're going to have to do super convoy escorts, because that fleet might come out and shatter your convoy. So you're going to be escorting all your convoys out here. So just the fleet that it's in being has an effect on the war, and they're correct about that, as opposed to the British idea is, well, hell, who cares if our fleet is sunk, so long as we sink that, you know, the enemy fleet. You know, we'll trade you one for one if need be. We're going to sink the enemy fleet, you know, the main battleships, the, you know, whatever time period, the carriers, the whatever. And once we sink those, well, okay, maybe neither side has any of these big ships, fine, but we have eliminated the threat. They're an offensive naval type force, and America very much has that similar mentality of, and so does Japan. All three of those naval powers are very similar in their naval thinking of securing seaways. So one, the Germans should have realized this with so the Italian fleet is never going to come out and challenge the British fleet, never going to challenge the American fleet. It's only going to pounce if it sees a vulnerable, you know, oh, hey, there's a convoy with just 3 destroyers. Oh, great, let's send out 4 battleships to go sink it. Great, sink it. Now, there is the operational problem of enough fuel oil for those ships, too. There are practical problems with the Italian Navy, too, not just the lack of will to use it. But even if you do use that fleet will not secure you, and the Luftwaffe and the Regia Aeronautica, the Italian Air Force, will not be able to secure supply lines to North Africa. So you have lost, shall we say, the battle of the Mediterranean seas by the time that, you know, you've lost at El Alamein, you've lost at, you know, Algiers, and they're pushing there. You've lost that. Now you're now on the strategic defensive, and you need to use your interior lines of communication, the ability to shift forces in your interior. You know, are they going to invade down in Italy? You shift forces down there. If they're going to invade in France, you know, be able to, you know, shift around. But you always have that Soviet pressure is going on. So you have gained 3 new specialization points. So that affects what Germany can do. Okay, America has a total of 9 specialization points here. What do we want to do? We could do proximity fuses for air, do more anti-air weapons, do more damage. That's very useful. Landing craft. Infantry units use landing craft which can attack coastal targets and allow attack right after disembarking. That's very useful. Can't do that because we don't have that. Scrambling, we don't have enough points for. I think we're gonna, we've got all of these already. So let's go for landing craft because we are the Americans, and we very well. I have not played beyond this point in Order of Battle. So when we get ready for going after Italy. Okay, so British 8th Army attacks the Mareth line, where the Axis forces hope to block Montgomery's further advance into central Tunisia. Now, the Mareth line was made by the French against the Italians. That ends up being used by the Germans against the British. But hey, let's continue. Okay, so we have a bunch of American points. What are these? British India, Free French, and New Zealand. Start briefing. And of course, British meat. Okay. Welcome, sir. Welcome back, sir. Days ago, Axis forces launched spoiling attacks at Medina to prevent us from attacking the Mareth line. Ultra intelligence enabled us to react swiftly, and the reinforcements arrived in time from Tripoli and Benghazi, turned Rommel's attack into a short-lived failure. Now this, again, I want to talk on this subject because I'm important, and it's Montgomery sitting here, why this is so important, and why this matters up to this point. Before Montgomery gets in charge of, the field forces, you still had, I think it's Alexander back in charge of the Mediterranean front, the whole Mediterranean front back in Alexandria. Alexander was in Alexandria, I think, not just in Cairo, but I think he's in Alexandria. But the general leading the field, Montgomery is the first one who is told of the ultra secret, the decoding of the German wireless communication, because it's just radio. They don't get landlined, which does make a difference at different times in history. But he is the first one in charge of it. So prior to him being in charge of this, they would tell, our sources say there's going to be an attack over here. And they go, well, that doesn't seem reasonable. We're not going to pay attention to that. Or, there's going to be an attack? Okay, we'll go get ready for it. Well, there was no attack. Well, your sources must be wrong. Well, this is because Berlin was often sending messages to Rommel to hold the line or to attack or whatever, and Rommel would not do so. And so the British High Command wasn't trusting the source, sort of like we were just talking about Hitler not trusting his general. The British High Command wasn't trusting spies because who knows, double agents, disinformation, blah, 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 blah. Well, Montgomery knew what the source was, finally, and then could evaluate it from there, meaning is it likely to be true or correct or whatever. So he is the first one, at least from the British side, to know of it and command armies in the field. They just didn't tell the others because they were way too worried that the general might get captured and let this super secret out. So next, the Desert Foxes left Tunisia for Europe. Meanwhile, now is our turn to break through the fortified Mareth line, which blocks the major route into central Tunisia. These fortifications were built by France in the 1930s to see off Tunisia in case of an Italian invasion from Libya, like I just said. The bunkers are not the best shape anymore, although the surrounding Mata hills offer protection against flanking attacks. Yeah, it's not that, and I do believe, and we do have possibly our ranger unit operating. Yeah, the American Rangers were able to operate through some of these mountains, but it's just the inability to, drive tanks and supply trucks. It's not that you can't get 500 or 1,000 soldiers across. It's what are they going to do once they're on the other side of the hills? Yeah, the Americans can do, air supply to keep them full of bullets and food, but that's about it. It's not able to, pursue on an offensive. The French also considered the only pass nearby Tebaga Gap impassable for motorized units. Okay, but we are confident that our experience in desert warfare will allow left hook flank maneuver using mobile forces. Indeed, the long-range desert patrol sent into Tebaga Gap found a suitable route to outflank the axis. Okay, so there is a route here, and I didn't know that they did that, but it is still a impressive barrier. So while the bulk of the 8th Army to make a frontal assault on the Mareth line, additional flanking forces would surprise the enemy. Expect mobile Axis forces ready to strike back once you make progress, though. Okay. Right, so we have breached the Mareth line, capture Gabs, flank the Mareth line, capture El Hama, destroy 5 Italian infantry units. Okay. You can play this campaign with predetermined core forces or compose. Would you like to use the custom core forces? I think they mean these guys or the historical guys down here. We're gonna play. We're gonna go no. We're gonna let this be the historical. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do that. We've got some Free French, New Zealand. Yeah, we're gonna do this. And let's see, where do we want to attach? Monty. I like doing it to tank units. These are destroyed German tanks, of course. Not a whole lot, but partially because we can keep them. Can we put them out here? Yes, we can. Just so that we have one out here. Freiburg, yeah. Okay, so we have that. So we're going to use, that's a Portee. Well, I don't know if we have any. Do we have long-range desert groups specifically? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. I'm going to drive up and reconnaissance that. Okay, they're going to be moving that way. Over here, we're going to break through this line. Got a fair amount of Air Force, which is nice. Let's use our Lysander. This, I believe, is a reconnaissance aircraft. So, okay, good. Give this a look in. Looking mostly at the idea of thinking here, because this is looking a little weaker, even though we have a lot of artillery down here. We can shift our tanks. sort of push up here. Okay, we're going to use this Spitfire as escort for those two, so he's just going to come up and strafe there, just in case there's any Luftwaffe or Italian aircraft going to come up and challenge us. Anti-aircraft gun there, but that's a fairly shortish range one. Let's give these guys a strafing. Boost them down a bit more. We don't need to just hang out next to that bunker just to do so. Okay. I'm going to shift this armor this way because they could. That's actually a fairly decent attack. Oh shit. Yeah. Well, that works too. Okay. They're going to clear those mines next turn. I'm going to do here is them to there, these guys to here. Just a little bit closer to better handle the attack. What haven't I moved? Okay, you can come up, still be. Yeah, you're going to stay right where you're at. You're staying. Well, you can move up too. Keep your air units. Oh, this artillery. Yeah. Put some suppressive fire, not that it's really needed this turn. I want to get to be able to putting more fire over there, so let's shift position instead. Yeah, because I want to overwhelm these. I'm going to be fighting this the way I would imagine this part of the action, the way that I would imagine Montgomery of Alamein, the sort of noble title. So I read his book. He wrote a really good book on the history of warfare. I mean, probably 30 years ago I read it, but it's really good. And he goes literally back to the earliest records of warfare and writes a book. So I understand, you know, and he's read about, you know, warfare and all. I mean, you know, I'm not just talking like Alexander, starting with Alexander. I'm talking going way back, what they know, what he knew of it, and writing about it. So it really gives his sort of understandings of warfare. So I feel I sort of understand the man a bit by his writing of all of that. You know, continue. Yes, I know we have unused and moved units, but you know we have a time pressure here. Okay, well, yeah, let's. I guess that desert is going to be a lot faster to move on. So let's move that. I'm sort of thinking maybe pushing here, but I guess we need to take, or it's best to go up there. That unit there to go after. Well, let's move up to here. I know it's sort of pushing up, but once we get up there, we'll be able to engage a lot of targets. So, not just out of fright for that, but a little bit. And this Lysander, up this way. Okay, there's an anti-aircraft gun. Well, whatever. 90 millimeter. Got Panzer IV, the Model D, fairly early. Okay, we're yet running into Tigers, though we did see them at the Kasserine Pass. So we might see them here. Let's use this fighter here. If I'm going to leave him there, I guess. I'm going to use these fighters here to... Oh, we can come into here and stray some artillery. Mostly looking to bump into whatever... Oh, there. Italian bomber, there we go. That works. Looking for that of the Luftwaffe. Okay, we're going to pull up this minefield. Okay. Another Italian bunker back here, Foxhole. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, discovered that. Like I say, I do know there is a time push here, but I'm hoping. We didn't engage that. Hell out of that way. Yeah, well, we blew that apart. No, we don't need to go in. Have them get a free shot at us. Move the portee there. Keep that moving up. Hello. Majid? Yes, forward, forward, forward. Go, go, go. Absolutely. But we're sort of playing it like Montgomery. Okay, you got to understand, Montgomery. He understands warfare. He's had well, I mean, like everybody else, he's a veteran of World War One. Well, I mean, all the generals basically of World War Two are veterans of World War One. He's had the experience of being a divisional commander in the Battle of France and evacuating out of France, and the whole BEF experience there. And he's also watched on the experience of reasonably good British generals having their seesaw battles with Rommel. That, that's never good, because the British really weren't withdrawing because it was a good thing to do. It was more like, oh shit, we've got to. If we don't withdraw, we're going to be, cut off. So that they were losing, and then then pushing back and winning. So Montgomery's. It gets to the point, like I talked earlier at the beginning of this. The world changes once America's at war with Germany, and there is no longer a sense, at Churchill's level or at the high command level in Egypt, which is running the Eastern Mediterranean front of the war, that they're going to lose. They've now known they're not going to lose the war. At least that's their impression, and turns out to be historically correct. So they don't have to take desperate measures to do anything. And they're able to, Rommel is unable to push past Al Alamein. There was already some fortifications there when Rommel gets there, but because he's unable to really continue to push, the British reinforce it. The British are bringing up huge amounts of supplies, are getting ready for an offensive against Rommel. Of course, at the highest echelons, they know that there is going to be a North Africa landing. I don't know how much they knew about it, whether they were briefed on all the plans or just, hey, it's coming soon, and then coming soon, not just as in like tomorrow, but that's in the planning phases of attack on the other side. So he doesn't feel a desperation to do anything. And so he wants to win and do so with the least losses possible. So he wants to, methodically, instead of going and just bashing on all these bits and pieces, because I see a lot of forces spread around here. And yeah, I made this attack partially here, just because these guys went up and to remove the mines. I didn't realize, I played Panzer General. I didn't really realize that they were going to occupy the hex to remove the mines. I just thought they were going to remove the mines. But okay, so we got this. That's fine. These portees are anti-tank guns. So if any of these tanks come and attack here, these guys are defended. I really don't think the Italians are going to come out and attack here. This is I know I could be concentrating our armor here, and it might be a good idea to try to push here you know, around and cut this off. But I'm instead pushing here up this side and firepower pushing this way. So whether it's the best plan or not, I don't know. So we're going, but we're not going to go, you know, in a Rommel style of push, 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 push. It's your bomber. Well, their bomber. The German infantry guns. Somewhat dangerous. Moving back, and they're going to shoot at my aircraft, are they? Yep. To some minor effect, okay. I didn't realize that was hidden. If I realized that, might would have changed my plans. I don't know how much. Well, that was very effective of you. And that was also very effective of you. So we're going to, what's it called? Oh, run away. Run away. We're going to run away. Okay. Let's do some aerial reconnaissance over here. Okay, we found a weak Italian infantry unit there, and there may be some more raiding around. We've got you here. We're going to move you up here to shoot at our bomber. Okay, we got those two fighters. Now, yeah. Let's come over here and do this. They're reconnaissing everything. The artillery is going to be effective. Advance in the other direction, yes. Oh, I don't know. Less Hark, Cold Eyes? No, but yeah. Advance in the other direction. Okay, well, we're still going to be pushing here. I think effectively we're going to see about assaulting that. Reduce that down a bit. These guys are going to fly escort, in essence be right next to them, but we can also strafe there. Engineers will do their good work. These guys will come up to here. These guys can come here, take out the anti-tank guns. Even though they're moderately weak anti-tank guns. I don't think we'll push in. Yeah, I know they're getting support from that unit, but that unit ain't much of anything. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, these guys, yeah, they're... No, yeah, they're... This doesn't look overly useful at the moment. So it's possible to win in this game without losing units, or is it inevitable to lose some? Well, some of the scenarios are just designed, like, and it's... I do have, well, might as well put them up here now. Those new here, I'm of course Gamer1745 here, streaming for Slithering TV, but I also have my own YouTube channel, and which earlier episodes of me playing here for Slithering TV, but are also up on my YouTube channel. You can see how this campaign has been going if you're interested in it and hear me talk about the war and what's going on. And on the weekends mostly I stream for myself on Slitherine, so you might want to follow the Slitherine channel, or my Twitch channel there, and of course follow here on Slitherine. Again, I want to continue to push. The more you watch here, you can earn sliths, and those you can turn into for free games or DLCs, so you can get free games and DLCs by watching here on Slithering TV. As the Kazarine Pass scenario starts, there are just some American units that you can't save. Well, I guess theoretically the die roll might go right 1 in 8 or 1 in 10 times you play it, that somehow they're savable, but really they get overrun. Now normally your core units, again, I'm playing on just sort of medium level. Notice my units will go up to strength 10, their units go up to strength 8. Partially because this is the first time I'm playing through it and I'm talking to you guys, so I'm not maybe concentrating or looking for the hardest challenge. But yeah, if you're playing with your core units, you set stuff up, more or less you can play it without losing units. You'll take losses, damage, but you can, if you're looking at your core sort of units, more or less you can do that. Not assured, but it's that type of thing. I think you get what I mean. Okay, so we have a lot of choices here. Now again, we're not going to push here just yet, so let's we got plenty of points, so we'll reinforce them with elite points. Now concentrate our firepower there. Now we're going to move these guys up. And these guys up here. I really don't think early on we're going to see any push out of their lines. I think these guys will free up and move once triggered deep enough for counterattacks. I'm figuring. Moving our big AA up as well. But we're going to continue to sort of, again, we're pushing through here around to get into their rear. Here, did we move the Lysander? Yes. So everyone, okay, what haven't we moved? And there's some stuff like those I don't want to move yet. Okay, the tank. Oh, we could attack you. Yeah, that isn't a good option at the moment. Yeah, we'll reinforce. You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. Okay, that's through everyone. This was probably a foolish move, going aggressive with the air. Probably should have come back down here and gone after the bomber or something. Been a little more defensive. Oh, they're going to pursue him. And take him out. That's sort of what I expected, just sort of a little bit of an advantage. Oh, more, oh, Stukas, okay. And Hankel 111s. Keep moving here. Let's come up here. Okay, well, hello. Okay, we'll move you up. Let's attack here. Oh. Now we can't take it, but what we are doing is pursuing them. Meaning we can't occupy it because it's a reconnaissance unit, but it doesn't need supplies to be in the enemy's rear. Taking out that bunker. This bunker, in my opinion, can just sort of remain there for a while at least. That's the next infantry unit. And that one. It needs to be hit. So this one, shoot our 25-pounder. 4.5-inch gun at him. And our other one. Could buy more forces, and so I should have done that earlier on. Okay, you guys run away. Okay, well, back to there to shoot those bombers down. Good. Keep those guys up. But let's do some purchasing here. I should have done that before. I like tanks in this game. Ooh, 160 points, but it's going to be 7 of our 18 points. But yeah, that should be very good for punching through this line. And I should have done this at the beginning, just sort of wanted to get started a little too quick after talking as much as I did, because I'm afraid I'm going to bore you guys too much with my just on and on and on. Okay, we're going to see about what's our best fighter option. We have a total of 9 points, so we're going to sea fire. No, let's I think a good ground attack. So let's purchase and deploy a couple of Spitfires to be able to retake our airspace. This one's been nicely escorting these bombers here. I think we'll leave them to that duty, but we will we do want to go somewhat offensive, so let's get a Typhoon. Purchase and deploy. There we go. A little better ground attack, but we still have 11 ground points. Bishop. That'd be 5. What do we have for 6? Would that be Matilda? Heavy armor? Slow? Sounds like a good British plan. Purchase and deploy. And we'll get the bishop. Mobile artillery moving up. There we go. All right. Like I say, should at least one of those we're replacing. That close. Right. Well, thank you, Everton. 5,000. And hello, Eric. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining. Yeah, I love this. This game is great. Panzer General. I mean, we'll way back to way back to Panzer General is great. But Panzer Corps 2 is out. They are coming out with Panzer Corps 2, the Pacific, but that's still coming. So I really like the new Panzer Corps 2, but so far, I mean, the Pacific is coming, but so far you can only play it from the German side. So this Order of Battle and Panzer Corps, the series, inhabits the same space of wargaming. This level of realism. It's not good to hear. Been resting. Good to hear. Eric has the bug. I think he's being a bit sick, but otherwise doing okay. So good to hear, Eric. Good to hear. So much divisional and sometimes down to brigade. That if you were watching earlier, seeing Yogdog play War in the East 2, yeah, that's more realistic for a turn-based, front wide type game. So yeah, there are other games here on Slytherin that are more realistic, but this is a real war game, and they inhabit a very similar space, and they they compete, but they're both good, both very good. Each one has its strength, and there's reasons to play both. We're going to drop on you and then come off over to here. Then we're going to have our bow fighters come over and strafe you. Bullet fighters. So. Gotta play this sort of delicately. Constantly, but I guess you can come over here. That's hoping to be assaulting this unit this turn. But I really wanted to deny them the anti-tank support there. These guys we're just going to, well, we're going to fall them. We'll move them over to here, not quite fall back, but move up there and reinforce. These guys will move this. Okay, they can. All my artillery here is fired. They're just holding the line. Well, since we haven't, these guys haven't spotted lines right in front of them here. I'm going to guess they're not here. Going to blast the bunker. Panzercorp really enjoy it. I'm sure he thanks you for good wishes. Yeah. And I don't know, is the sale still on? There may be still a very good sale on Slytherin and Matrix sites for all these games. There was one recently. I'm not sure. I'd like to pimp out sales because I believe in buying the games on sale. So you might want to, oh, you could still fire. Okay, well, you should have fired earlier, but we'll fire you now here at these guys. Thing is still running. Okay, good. Castanar, yes. So everyone, you guys can go to Slytherin and look at some pretty good sales. You know, I'm not trying to sell this game or any other game to you. I know that's obviously Slytherin's job. I want to present the games in a, you know, honest light, and I do criticize some of the games at times, or elements of them, though they're of course smart enough to make sure I like the game generally before they have me stream it for them. So it's not, I don't hate on any of these games that I'm playing here. It's just, you know, things that, oh, it ended the 14th. Yeah, okay, I didn't know if it was still on. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. But do look out for sales. And so, you know, I hope to present the game so you know what it is you're buying, if it's the right game for you or not. Let's get you over this way a little bit more. I know you're not going to be able to shoot at him, but please keep moving that up. Oh yeah, so watch for sales for whether, and again, this is a free-to-play game, the sort of base initial game, at least on PC, because there is a console, or there are multiple console versions. I don't keep up with the consoles, so I don't know what the console models are, you know, that it's on. But for the PC version, the base game is sort of free-to-play, and then of the DLCs, the first mission of the DLCs are free to play. So you can play all those to see if you want to do it or just want to play it for free. The sale's still up on Humble Bundle website. Time me out if I... No. I am happy to have you talk about any Slytherin sales going on anywhere. I don't know the Humble Bundle pricing right now. I do know there are, I think on at least some of the games are on GOG. Though on Steam, it's the, I think generally speaking, unless there's a special just Steam only sale, generally if they're going to have it on sale on Steam, it'll also be on sale on Slytherin or Matrix's website. They're basically the same company. Just some are branded, some games are branded Matrix and some are branded Slytherin. But it's better for the company if you buy it on their site, but it's the same price as Steam. Steam just doesn't get the cut. The cut, which is pretty high, I think it's like 30%. I mean, this is not, I'm getting from Slytherin, I'm just hearing about Steam. But you will get, or once you buy it there, they will generate you a Steam code so you can have it in your Steam library if you want to. So, yes. Hell Cthulhu. Hello, Cthulhu Kitty. Okay, I guess that's it. Got to try to learn to read these names without capitalization or spaces or underscores. So yeah, and you get the Steam key from them. And you buy it, on the Matrix site if it's available. And also, if something's like, if you buy it now on Matrix and it's not yet available on Steam, if it does become available on Steam someday, you can go back and get your Steam code to have it in your Steam library. So yeah, it's always best if it's as cheap as, if not cheaper than on any of the other sites, buy it on Slytherin or Matrix stuff. And I bought a bunch from them over the years. So yeah, it's good too. Now, obviously, I'm streaming for them. They give me stuff so that I can stream for them, and which includes basically everything new. Not everything in the old library, but everything in the new stuff that they want me to be able to do. So, but yeah, you guys just do that to, get your best deals you can. Always do that. That kind of stuff I'm always happy to specifically pimp out, that there's sales. Save you money. Okay, I think we're good for this turn. Let's continue. They're moving there. These are desert cars, not armored cars, but Italy's answer to the long-range desert group, basically. And they're going back to get reinforced. They're coming to be bombers somewhere, which is maybe not the best option for them. Yeah, get over. Oh, there's some more. Okay, they hit us while we were... Never good to be... Oh, how did they just fade away? Okay, never good to be... Oh, there they are. I think they're there, so let's move up to here. Nope, okay. Mm-hmm. I think they're there, so let's see. I don't see them. How interesting. Well, hello. Fairly early 8 rad. Okay, our left hook maneuver has successfully outflanked the Mareth line. As our forces reach the Tabaga Gap, we expect the enemy to abandon his fixed positions in reaction. Okay, interesting. So they're going to start retreating, they think. Yeah, well, we'll keep putting pressure on here. They say, generally speaking, you don't. Okay, that tells me there's got to be something right there. Oh, he's over here. I guess they have special desert hiding ability, because he doesn't hide here. How interesting. How interesting. Like I said before, I have not played this beyond what you've seen. Okay, do you happen to know if there's a release date yet for Panzer Corps 2? Trying to remember. I don't remember. You can. I think it's still up. Is the last week's tea time? You can look at probably about 2/3 into the episode. You'll have them bring up the release schedule. I'm guessing, just offhand, I don't know, but it'll be. I'm thinking second quarter or third quarter this year. I don't know if they've locked it up more than that. Yeah, looking it up, but don't think so. Yeah, Castanar. I don't think they've nailed that down hard. So considering this is the Desert Coast. Is this part? Yeah. Well, this is this is the Montgomery's offensive into Tunisia, particularly this battle. This is Allies Resurgent, which deals with starts in the sort of torch landings and will deal with going up into Italy. Like I say, I've not gotten that far. I don't. They'll specify how many battles in the description for the DLC. So yeah. Okay, well, before we just start attacking, okay, we know there's an AA gun right there, so we're going to, well, let's fly over here. I know the enemy aircraft have been zipping around somewhat. Okay, Yeah, I don't think they're going to come out after me. They may decide to. Yep, some, but okay, he's not in very great shape, so he's going to come here and land. We're not escorting them with fighters, which I think is a big mistake. The fighter would give some supporting fire. Here. Oh, not quite take him down. Now we're seeing these guys running sort of away. Oh, these guys, yeah, running away. So I'm going to risk not escorting him. I know I might be able to do more damage there, but I just want to actually take this unit off the map. So it's flying above the map. But there we go. Unit come crashing down. Yeah, the store page. Yeah, no, I think because just everybody to know, if you're new around here, on Thursdays morning, my time out here in California, sort of tea time in Britain, there's a half-hour show called Tea Time. That's the sort of official half-an-hour video every week, or news update of what's going on with Slytherin, and they have a release schedule of everything that they've announced when, things are going into release or going into, either coming to the Steam store or going first time onto a console platform or whatever it might be. So you can always catch that or look it up because it'll stay on Twitch for a while, and it may be on YouTube as well. So keep that in mind if you want to look up what's coming when. Right, okay, we got these guys over here. So what we're going to do here, we're going to fly our Typhoon, drop some bombs on them, and do no significant damage. Fire a big bomber over there. Hopefully do a little bit of damage. Very good. Trying to get away from this unit after killing this unit, but I don't think it's going to happen. No, we're gonna start off by firing up there. Okay, no, I was hoping just to kill him. Alright, well. Yeah, I knew basically. Oh, there's another bunker there. Oh, damn. Okay, well. There. See, we're trying to take out the AT gun here. I just want to push up with that. We'll think about that here. Trying to concentrate some of this on this heavy infantry unit, because if they're going to start pulling out, we don't want. Oh, shit. Mines. Damn. Okay, well, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted indeed. Fired. Southern. Yeah. I don't have any information on that, but yeah, just keep checking out. And hello, Baco Grande. How you doing? There's a lot of stuff coming. I'm still sort of very hyped for just because I really like Stargate, the Stargate game, the Starship Troopers game looks like I really like Starship Troopers franchise, but that game actually looks like a better game to me, at least the game styles that I like to play. We need to get these guys going. Okay, okay. Yeah, I knew you were going to be slow. Maybe not that slow, but I knew you were going to be slow. Okay. Like I say, I should have bought these before the mission started, but we'll get them here and use them to push on up through. So I'm looking forward to those games particularly. Yeah, I know my thing is history gaming, but still the sci-fi games really look good to me. The Terminator game might be really good that they're working on. Speared into the desert sands, so it seems. Oh, they decided to be smart and run away. They're coming back. Why? Yeah, these guys in the bunkers are going to shoot. These guys in the bunkers are going to shoot. We're going to get all shot up here. But we're going to then run away from the bunkers for a while. I might bring up artillery to pound on them, but... Eli Sanders. Slytherin is fairly smart in not releasing, dates and times and whatnot until things are really ready to go, And they will sometimes push things back if things need a bit more work, which I think is good. Well, everyone, I know there's a few new people here. I'm, of course, Gamer1745, streaming for Slytherin TV, but I also have my own Twitch channel, which I stream for myself on the weekends. Lots of strategy, historically based strategy games. And I have my own YouTube channel, which you can find earlier episodes of this series, playing Order of Battle, along with Ardennes Offensive, the decisive campaigns, Ardennes Offensive, War in the East 2, many other historically based strategy games from Slytherin and other companies. So you might want to check out my YouTube channel as well. But we have gone over time, but I've been enjoying it. So if you guys want to follow, and of course follow here for watch myself and many other great streamers playing great games, and earn free games yourself on Slytherin TV here with the Sliths. So please hang out. I'll be back next Tuesday with I think Field of Glory Medieval Storm of Arrows, and I think that's what it is. And if that's what it is, I'll be continuing playing the historic Battle of Cressy and talking about the Plantagenets and all of that fun stuff then. So thank you all.